Welcome back, and it is time for another weekly palettes video. Quick rundown for those of you who are new here or who haven't seen the series before. I have an absolute metric crap ton of palettes, and I like to share the looks I do. Plus, I'm working at home now, so I can do crazy colorful looks and then sit at my desk in my office and work, and it's not bothering anybody. So I've been having a lot of fun with my collection, and this is just a way for me to share that with you so you can maybe be inspired to play around with your collection or go dig into some things that you haven't used in a while. So if you guys want to see what looks I created this particular week, which I am about 5 weeks behind. Anyway, if you want to see these looks, then stick around. All right, guys, we're going to try and power through this. So we're going to make this a quick one because there was not a whole lot of chill this week. I was kind of going balls to the wall with color, and even the couple of more neutral looks I did were still on the colorful side. So that being said, let's start off with the first palette, and that would be the Laura Lee Los Angeles Candy Skies palette. This thing is beautiful, and I absolutely loved the look I got out of this palette. It was so stunning. I'm gonna do this on this side. I usually put, I don't know. Anyway, this palette is beautiful, really gorgeous, really easy to get a colorful look without having to do a whole lot of work. And I think I said in my palette rankings for August that it was like a 2-color look. That's a lie, it wasn't. But let me tell you what I did. I went in with Mint Chip in my transition, and then I just kind of deepened it up with a stiffer brush into the crease. I then layered Blue Sky into the deeper crease, and I used both of those shades on the lower lash line. For my outer lid, I laid down a little bit of Blue Skies, and then I layered Blue Raspberry over it. And then for the inner portion of the lid, I took Pistachio and blended that all over and into Blue Raspberry. There's not really a light enough inner corner shade for me in this palette, so I went into the Sweetest Bling, which is a Wet n Wild kind of light pinky highlighter, and that's what I used on my inner corner. But that was the look I created with this palette, and I was really happy with it, and I am excited. Like, really, this is a beautiful fall palette if you just take out these blues, but I am excited to play with this side of the palette and just create some more looks, because so far from what I've experienced, the quality is fantasticals. Love it. All right, the next look I did is actually with the Shroud, I know it says Strobe, but they are now Shroud Cosmetics Divinity palette, and this is a beautiful palette for fall in a very uniquely colorful, grungy kind of way, and I was really happy with the look I created with this. I started off with Ratty in my transition and blended that down. I then took Aphrodite and deepened up the crease, and then for my deep crease and my outer lid, I went in with Freya. I then layered Freya and then Aphrodite on the lower lash line. Then with just a eyeshadow base, I created a half cut crease, and I took Hathor and patted that over the blanked out area and blended that into Freya, and then used Hathor in the inner corner. I was super, super happy with this look. I thought it was really pretty. It was very soft and warm, and I think kind of a nice transition from like late summer to fall. I was just kind of feeling it that day, and I was really, really happy. And I've got to say, I'm really liking Strobe's eyeshadows, so I like their color stories too. They're very interesting and very grungy, and I'm all about it. All right, the next look I'm really loving as well, and it was kind of fun because BH Cosmetics featured this on their stories, it was kind of cool. And that is the Looking Like a Snack palette. Why these are upside down, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't know. This is from the Say It Out Loud collection, and it's a 9-color eyeshadow palette. This one, I'm not gonna lie, the theming is a little cringy, but the color story is beautiful, and I really liked the look I came up with. So for the transition, I went in with Teenage Dream, which is the shade right here, which blended beautifully. I then went in and deepened it up with You Up, question mark, You Up in the just kind of crease area and blended that into Teenage Dream. For my deep crease, I went in to Hit That. Fucking ridiculous. But it's a pretty shade, and I really liked it. Then I went in, I did kind of a halo eye, so I made kind of really emphasized Hit That on the inner and outer corners. I then went in with is it Thought? T-H-O-T? I don't know, guys. I'm old. I don't know all the slang, so whatever. This is a really pretty shade for a sequin shade. The glitter is actually pretty high impact, but this falls out like a mother. So just make sure if you're using the shade to do your eye makeup first, because good Lord. And then I went in, and it's a black with like pink and gold glitter in it. It's really pretty for a sequin shade, but it's just a big hot mess. I then layered or blended that into Dirty Talk, which is stunning. It is so pretty. Love that shade. And then for the inner portion of that halo, I just went right in with Yummy. And then I did Yummy on the inner corner and hit that and You Up. I just blended on my lower lash line, and I was really happy with the look. I was very happy with the look, actually. Let me swatch these for you just to give you a little hit. The shimmers in these palettes are beautiful, and the mattes are really good as well for the most part. Some I've had a little bit of trouble with, but for the most part these mattes are really nice quality. Okay guys, next palette. I talked about this in my August rankings. This is the Nature palette by Makeup Atelier. This thing is so freaking pretty, and this is the look that I was talking about. That's one of my most favoriteest looks I've ever done in the history of everything. I love this palette. It is so pretty. So these don't have names, so I'm just going to tell you what I did. And all of these have a little bit of shimmer to them, but they are so beautiful on the eye, I just don't even care, and it doesn't bother me that there are no true mattes in here. So for my kind of transition shade, I went in with this shade right here, and then I went in and deepened it up with this one right here. I then went into the deep crease with this blue right here, which is the most matte out of all of them. And I kind of put that on the outer lid and into the crease. And then I went along the lower lash line with this deep blue and also this blue right here. I then, on my actual lid, I transitioned this color or this color to this color, and then a little bit of this last color right here. I'm getting creative. Look how pretty that is. And then I just went back to the green and to the yellow in the inner corner, and it was blown out. It was super smoky. I'm going to show you these swatches, and y'all are going to be like, what the F are you even talking about? Because they don't swatch like anything really. I mean, they're not impressive in swatches, but when you get them on the eye, they're so pretty. They're so pretty, and I just absolutely love this palette. I am in love with the look I created with this palette, and this brand is just fabulous. I think it's phenomenal, and not enough people talk about it. All right, the next palette is also from BH Cosmetics, and this is the Optimistic AF palette. I loved this look too. It took me a little bit of work to get there, but I loved it. And this palette, I kind of did kind of the same type of look as I did with the blue one. And I went in with Silver Lining, and that was all along my lower lash line, my deep crease, my outer lid, kind of blew that out and created that kind of elongated eye shape. I then went in with Half Full and blended that into Silver Lining and just really blended it. This was a really exaggerated look. I then took Good Vibes Only and kind of blended Half Full into Silver Lining, and just kind of, because I found that Half Full was not blending to what I wanted it to. So I used Good Vibes to kind of blend those two together. And then I took Ray of Sunshine and put that all along the inner portion of my lid and blended that into Half Full. And then I went in with, no I didn't. I just did an all matte look, and then I just used that for the inner corner as well. And like I said, it took a little bit of work to get where I was going, but once I got there, I was so happy with this look. These are very high impact colors, and you get a lot of pigment, which is why I think it was just a little bit more difficult to blend them, because you are getting a lot of pigment in these colors. So again, I didn't use any of the shimmers in this palette, but the mattes that I used just created a beautiful look. Like I said, it just took a little bit more work to get there. And sometimes that's just, how a palette is, not everybody likes to put in the work. And that's totally fine. I'm just going to swatch the shimmers for you just so you can get an idea of them. Not everybody wants a palette that you have to work at, and that's totally fine, but sometimes you put a little bit of work and you get some awesome looks. And those are just the shimmers in the palette that I didn't use. So really happy with this. I could see me going back to this for just when I'm feeling a little spicy. Love This is like a spicy mood kind of palette. All right, the next palette was one of the most, I used for one of the most neutral looks of the week, and that is the Smitten in Switzerland palette from BH Cosmetics. Another beautiful color story, just really gorgeous, giving me all the kind of fall grungy vibes. It's like a sophisticated grunge though with this palette, and I really like the look. It was very simple, but I kind of went all over with Snowcap, and then I went in with Montereau just as a transition. I deepened up my crease with Fondue, and then I used chocolate in my deep crease. I then layered Mountain all over my inner outer lid, just the whole lid, and then I topped that with Mount Rigi, I think is how you say that. Beautiful shade. Just to give you a little idea. Mount Rigi. And then for my lower lash line, I just went in with chocolate and blended it out with Mountain, and I went in with Alps, this one right here, for my inner corner. And I was really, really happy with the look. It was very simple. It was very, compared to what I've been doing, you know, what I had done the rest of the week, it was very kind of easy, very simple, and just kind of subdued, but I was loving it. And I just thought, you know, it's BH Cosmetics quality is just, they're really finding their consistency, and I'm really enjoying all of the palettes that I have from them right now. The next palette was also kind of a more neutrally look, but it was definitely kind of playing up what I did with the Switzerland palette. It was kind of more of that green vibe, but it just kind of amped it up a little bit. And that is the Lethal Cosmetics Velvet Dusk palette. This is one of their pre-made palettes, so it doesn't have the names on the back because they just put them together, but it has the names on the sleeve, which is why I still have it. So what I did with this is I started off in the transition with Steam right here, and then I went in with Inertia and kind of deepened it up. And then for the deep crease and outer lid, I went in with Corrosion right here. I then blended Inertia into Corrosion, and then I went in with Cryptic on the inner portion of the lid, and I just used this shade right here, which is called Limbo in my, let me swatch some of these, Limbo in my inner corner. And this was a beautiful look. I was really, really happy with it. So just some of the shades right there. Oh, and then I'm sorry, on the lower lash line, I just did Corrosion, and then I kind of blended it into Inertia towards the inner portion. I'm really liking Lethal's mattes. I've said it before, their shimmers are my favorite, but they are really beautiful. And I'm really, really enjoying the eyeshadows that I've gotten from them. And the thing I can say about the palettes that I've gotten is that they're some of the most unique color stories, and they're not things that you see all the time. And it kind of opens up your makeup perspective, if that makes sense, to sit down with a palette like this and decide how you're going to play with it and put it together. And I really enjoy that. It's part of the fun for me. Okay guys, that was actually the last palette, is the, oh, that was a bunch of stuff falling. The Lethal palette, I thought we had one more, but I was totally lying to myself. That the Velvet Dust palette was actually the last palette I used this week. So yeah, a whole bunch of color going on, and then some kind of grungy green looks, just playing around. It's just fun. Sometimes it's just fun to sit down and play and not worry about what anybody's gonna think about it. You know, you just do and try and put things together that you wouldn't think about putting together, and sometimes you'll be very pleasantly surprised at the results. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, let me know down below what palettes you've been using this week. You guys know I love hearing from you, but thank you so much for hanging out and talking about makeup with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day, have a rockin' week, and I will see you next time. Bye.